Let's break in an engine. So if you hear that puffing, my exhaust is broken. So that's more than likely definitely what that is, hopefully. We're in the idle phase right now for another 2 minutes, but I wanted to show you guys the exhaust leak, what I'm talking about. I need to get this fixed. Right there. Only the bottom part of the weld is broken, so I can take it off and take it to a welder to get fixed. Having a welder here, we don't have anything for aluminum, so just being as fast as possible instead of having to order it or blah blah blah. Just go to a welding shop, pay the extra price. What the hell just landed in my yard? Sound like a rocket. And get that fixed and get it up and running. So time to jump in the car again and start revving it up. 2,500 RPM now. A lot of vibrations due to those motor mounts. We're in the revving stage for 5 minutes where you have to rev it at different intervals, never surpassing 4,000 RPM. Rev session done, idling. Gonna check everything again, check my coolant levels, bleed valve, make sure everything is still nice and dry underneath. Now if you see wetness, that's because of the coolant. You can see I've been bleeding it out, trying to get all the air bubbles out. I'm not worried about coolant leaks because that's me doing that. But everything seems dry, nothing on the transmission. That's wonderful to see because, well, we did that. All right, let's go check on the engine side. So this was the problem child, and dry as a whistle. Nothing. Nothing. That's wonderful. Absolutely nothing. I gotta see if I should put some foam in there or something for this pipe, because I have a feeling that's gonna rattle. Because that's kind of touching. Kind of. Sorta. That's not good. Spider webs already. Gosh. It's like the car's only been sitting for a couple days with everything in it, and spiders are already trying to infest it. But, oh, it works! Oh, yeah. I think I've already shown you guys this, but my smaller battery, I went ahead and put these on so I don't lose them. No harm, no foul. It's in there, not moving, nice and secure. Well, maybe that one needs to be a little bit fatter, but everything else is nice and secure in there. Actually, I probably don't need that one, but I'm gonna leave it in there for now. Just for now. And then, this is a beautiful Team Dynamics, and my problem is right here. There's no space. So, ARP bolts, or ARP wheel studs, so it can be longer. I'm gonna press out all the studs in the garage line spacers and put on the 15mm spacers with the ARP wheel studs, and I should be rocking there. Plenty of clearance, by the way. Like, I am shocked. I might actually be able to run a 15-inch wheel with the Team Dynamics and the spacer, because this is the only thing that's lip here, and with the spacer being sticking out 15 more millimeters, I might be able to get away with a 15. That's a huge amount of space. Huge amount. We'll see. That would be epic. Oh my god, this is really hot. Oh my gosh. Oh, hot. I love that. Now before we go checking our oil that came out, I'm going to put some oil back into the engine. Again, same stuff, brake-in fluid for the next 250 to 300 miles. I'm going to do 250. And then after that oil change and everything checks out with our leak detection, we'll also be doing that in a second too. Then I got to put in some real oil, not the brake-in fluid, and the tuning begins. Something you could do if you don't have a cone filter is you can use, I have a bunch of these laying around, masks, pretty good filtration. I'm going to put this on top of my oil filter and pour my oil filter in here and see what I get in here. So what you can see is what is left over, and it looks remarkably clean. Remarkably clean. Now you might be saying, well, the filter's supposed to, you know, catch everything. Well, if there was a severe problem, you would be definitely seeing it. Like, it's just oil in here, which is good. Like, I don't see any shininess, no metal. Obviously no coolant in there. That is a wonderful, wonderful first break-in procedure to see. Before we perform our leak down test, I want to tell you there is a difference between a compression test and a leak down. The compression test, and the tool that I use, which you guys seen me in previous video when I found out my engine was gone, lets you know how well an engine is making compression. A leak down test tells you how well an engine is holding pressure or holding air or holding all, you know, that, you know, PSI or boost in a sense. So I have both. My compression tester, you guys have seen. Yes. My cylinder leakage tester. It's gonna kind of look similar, brand new, haven't used it. Same gauges, except for one of them tells you how much pressure you're putting in, and the other one is going to tell you how much pressure is still in there, or you'll start to see it move as you're losing pressure, so to speak, if there's a lot or hardly any. So one will tell you how much pressure you've put in, one will tell you how much pressure is left over. So we're gonna go ahead and get this hooked up and show you how this works. So again, here's your crank bolt, 18 millimeter. You want to keep your other spark plugs in to help hold the compression, and what you will see as I'm turning, you'll either see this lifting or lowering, and I kind of move it around too to make sure that way no valves are getting stuck. It's going up, so that's good. So once I barely see it start to come down, I want to stop. It's still coming up. I think I'm getting close. So we're connected here. You've got your air hose here, and there's some values you can go to. You can go to, depending on your air compressor, you can go to 75, 90, or 100, and then there's a percentage difference. So what you do is you slowly open up your valve, and you're going to see both needles start to move. And we're going to go to 75 first to see if I can definitely get to 75. I'll probably get to 90 on this air compressor. So the left is what I just inputted at 75, and the right is pretty close to it. So let's go up to 90 to see if we get a little bit more accurate reading. No, I can't get to 90. There is a slight difference though now. I can start to see maybe 1 PSI. I couldn't get quite to 90 with the compressor that I have. So we'll round it and say a 1 PSI difference, percentage leakage 1. So even if we went to 88 too. So that's pretty dang good for cylinder 1. We're gonna test cylinder 4 and see how that goes. Cylinder 4, 75 and 71. I really wish this was longer. Cylinder 2. $75, and this one is 72.5. As we all know, cylinder 3 is my favorite. And the valves are open. That's a good indicator that the valves are open. Finally, cylinder 3. my favorite. Hope it's the strongest one. Alright, 75 and 73. When removing your studs from your wheel studs, first thing you have to do is remove your brake assembly to have access to the hubs to see how well they can come out. Especially since I have a bracket in the back, it's kind of blocking some of everything. Rotors have to come off anyways, because I want to give them a light sanding. As you can see, a little bit of rust. So let's do that. Or this is so that way you just don't mushroom the head, so it can come out. Also, make sure your whole suspension assembly is connected, because you are going to be hitting this with quite some force. So if you have 1, 2, 3 points of contact, 4 technically with the CV axle, you should be good. Swing from this side so I don't feel like I'm gonna hit the car. That. Boom, there's one. The next process on our wheel stud installation is we are removing the studs that come with the garage line spacer. So I'm going to use a vise, a socket, put it in and sandwich it out. Do 8 of these. Yes, that was a good sound. Our new ARP wheel studs have came in the mail. Significantly longer, but that's what we need. And got to do the other side because I rotated the wheel where I can't access this side. Let's jump to the other side. Oh, glorious. So to get this in, obviously with the grooves and everything, I'm going to use an impact. You want to make sure it's in the correct groove. So, a little tug there. And a lot of washers, bolt. In. This is what it looks like with your new ARP wheel studs in. Brakes are in. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. With the spacers, fits beautifully. Wheels gonna fit over. I have a little bit of extra room now that I can dial in some more camber. So my next endeavor is swapping out the eye-box springs I put on here for the original KWs, and that's just for the time being to move the perch up, and then I can order some shorter linear springs and make all this work. I definitely like linear more than progressive, but I want to try the progressive and see how they end up feeling. So to get to my goal of the negative 2.8 degrees camber to negative 3 degrees camber, I have these really cool camber bolts that are replacing this stock bolt. So this gives a little room inside to pivot and move it about. I'm hoping it'll get me pretty close. I mean, I'll even be happy with negative 2.5 or just something in the negative 2s, because I think right now I'm like negative 1.8, negative 2, somewhere around there. And it goes in the top one. I went ahead and put on the yellow springs to gain a little bit of clearance for my wheels, so they're not hitting the purple collar right now. And we'll go ahead and give it a go and see how the progressive springs feel with this setup. I mean, this is what they're designed for, so might as well run it and see what happens. Otherwise, I can go back to a linear setup with shorter springs, because right now they're 8-inch length. 6-inch or even a 7-inch probably would be good. I'd probably go 6-inch just to be safe. There we go. Adjustables on the top, Normal's on the bottom, brake line goes there. And then I also have to adjust my end links as well. So we've got our brake assembly, our ARP wheel studs, our spacer, which fits perfect, and then our wheel. Well, I'm looking to see the distance between the tire and said purple adjuster. Might help if the plastic isn't in the way. I need, I think, a couple more turns just to be safe. If you could see that in there. Maybe 2 full rotations. Maybe 1. I think it'll match the other side, just 1. So, that's the wheels. Almost there. Almost get to drive it. Almost get to drive it. Almost get to drive it! Oh, this thing is so dirty. So I know daylight is ending, but my package of the day, my last package of the day, to complete the vehicle, has come in. Which means these can go on. So I got the, God, how do you pronounce it? Muteki hollow lug nuts, because my ARPs, I anticipated were going to be incredibly long, and for sure my Gorilla locking lug nuts, did not fit. And touch the ground. And she comes. She's on the ground. Look at this flushness. That is hopefully no issues. Once I move it, which I'm gonna do right now, it'll probably lower it a little bit more. Let's move it. Let's move it. It drives. The clutch, I gotta get used to that again. Not again, but the sensation of the Fiesta of where it lets go. I almost stalled it. You probably saw that. But look at this. That is a little low. I think I may have to raise that. Rears, I still have to put in the KW suspension, but she is low in the front. Dirty as hell. I don't even, oh my gosh, that's it looks good. It looks really good. Really freaking good. Needs a wash. That's it for today. Hey everyone, we have our first driving impressions going on right now. First thing I definitely notice, I feel compared to driving in the Jeep, like I can't see over the steering wheel. Very low. Second thing, vibrations. You hear everything rattle. So I apologize for the audio, but I'm going to be yelling at you. Gears are extremely short. I'm driving right now to go get an alignment. So I'm driving to the shop. I'm in 6th gear. Let's say, let's get down to 50. 6th gear, 50 miles an hour, 2,200 RPM. Now, right now, since this is still a Thank you. So my specs. Caster, because I put in the PowerFlex caster adjusting on the control arm. So my caster was 4.4 degrees versus before was like 3 point something. My camber, I got maxed out to negative 2.4. Everybody here knows me, obviously, if you're sponsored by them. Negative 2.4 degrees for my camber, and then my toe I got dialed, for right now, just perfectly centered at 0. Normally, for track use, I like to have a little bit of negative toe, but for right now, because I'm going through the tuning process, I'm going to be driving around more on the streets, I want to conserve my tires a little bit. Oh yeah, I have stuff in the back. Forgot about that. Probably shouldn't be going hard around corners. But no, it was pretty close. My toe was off a little bit. My camber was really close from how I adjusted it. But yeah, that's my alignment setting. So now I get to start driving around for 200-ish miles. I keep lowering the number. Notice that 200 to 250 miles. I need to swap the springs in the back to the KWs and start fiddling with my suspension tuning as well. Just when I thought the episode was over, turns out I broke something. This is the aluminum bore center for my spacers. Let's go show you. I'm stuck on the side of the road right now for a little bit. Yeah. It broke, which then caused my wheel to be loose. Extremely loose, look at that. And there's metal everywhere from how it broke. I'm just completely baffled right now. I barely got off the side of the freeway. I'm on an off-ramp, so it's not as dangerous. But yeah. Aluminum spacers. Don't trust them. Lesson learned. At least here, not somewhere bad, like track. That could have been bad. Oh, alright, well now I'm going to look into some steel ones or whatnot to make these all work, because obviously, you can see it right in there. It just snapped. Oh, my life. Nothing could ever go easy. So what do I get from all of this? I feel garage line spacers are not a good quality now. So while I'm sitting here waiting, I ordered H&R ones. The material is aluminum and magnesium mixed together, because there really should be no reason that this failed in the way it did. Absolutely none. I wasn't even going fast. Everything was torqued down to spec, wheel lugs and everything. I double checked them before I left because I swapped, or I raised the car up a little bit. It's ridiculous. Like, this is unacceptable. The fastest I was going was 65 miles an hour commuting speed. California has the slowest speed limits too. It's not okay. Not okay at all. So, waiting for rescue, and I'm gonna tighten them up and drive very slowly back roads home. Probably throw on my stock wheels while I wait for the H&Rs to come in. Remove the spacers, obviously. Stock wheels have more clearance because it's a 7-inch rim, not an 8-inch rim. And yeah, this was crap. But I'm alive. The wheel didn't come off. It's just a minor setback. Car drives. Transmission's good. Just a hiccup. Just a hiccup in the road. A bump in the road. So yeah, if you have something that you would like to share, go ahead, comment down below something that you've experienced after doing a big overhaul or whatnot, and how you've had your own hiccups. So I'd love to read those, make me feel a little bit better, make me feel like I'm not the only one. So there's help. See you guys.